SEA today.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to A's Online Virtual Classroom. This is your boy Mr. Dre, bringing you SEA Today by A's Online Tutoring Services. We at A's Online are on a mission to help raise the passing rates of students at the SEA and CXC level. So to help us accomplish that, we're offering this free series, daily episodes preparing students for SEA 2021 and beyond. So if you haven't done it as yet, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't seen our previous videos, you're going to hit the link right on top there and take a look at all our episodes. Because as we continue, we are doing Mathematics Specimen Paper 2021, and we've done questions 1 to 30 so far. So you don't want to miss that out. As we get into the remaining questions, we are going to look at numbers 30 to 36 today. And if you don't have it as yet, pause the video, get your pen, your paper, your ruler, whatever tools you would need, and make sure that you're ready to start when we start. So, like we've done it whole week, as soon as the timer starts, we will start. Alright? So, let's get it. Alright, number 31. The measure 2 meters 50 centimeters is put into the number machine below. 3 numbers, triangle, hexagon, and irregular shape here, are missing. Write the missing numbers. So this is a number machine, or what they're calling a number machine. And what I like to look at this as is not really a question, but more of a little game. So the machine goes where you put this amount into it, and once you put that amount into it, you have different things happening. So this first part of the machine here says 2 meters 50 centimeters. That's the first thing you go in, and then you add 3 meters and triangle centimeters, and you get 6 meters 25 centimeters. So how are we able to figure out what the triangle is? Well, to get what this number is supposed to be, supposed to represent, what we're supposed to do is find the difference between the 6 meters 25 centimeters and the 2 meters and 50 centimeters. So for us to do that, I don't want to have, right, so we have the 6 meters 25 centimeters subtract 2 meters 50 centimeters. Alright, so what we could actually do to make things easier, anytime we have a question that have different units, this is meters and centimeters, it is easiest if we change everything to 1 unit. And which unit should we use? Well, most times the question, or the answer, tells us what unit we're looking for. So we're looking at centimeters. So let's convert everything to centimeters. So 6 meters to centimeters. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So therefore 6 meters will be equal to 6 times 100 centimeters, which is 600. So the first one on top, the total is supposed to be 625 centimeters. Right, I run out of space there. And the second one on the bottom, we'll do the same. We have 2 meters, which is 2 times 100 centimeters, which is equal to 200. These are both centimeters. So The second number would be 250 centimeters. Alright, so now we could subtract these two. We have 625, take away 250, we get 5. We have to borrow 1 from the 6, so we'll get 5 here. 12 take away 5 is 7. 5 take away 2 is 3. So this is the difference between the two is 375 centimeters. So here in the number machine, we need to put that 375 in. But if you look here properly, they already have 3 meters. And the 3 meters, we have 375 centimeters to go in, and they already have 3 meters. So that 3 meters would be the 300 centimeters, right? So if we take away the 300 that's already there, we will remain with 75 centimeters. So the triangle would be 75. So let's write that in. Triangle is 75 centimeters. Alright, so that's our first missing shape. Let's move on to the hexagon. So now we have 6 meters 25 centimeters. You're gonna see it here. 6 meters 25 centimeters multiplied by hexagon, right, gives you 18 meters 75 centimeters. So if we want to find out what the hexagon is, we have to do the opposite of multiply, which is divide. So we're going to take 18 meters 75 centimeters and divide it by 6 meters 25 centimeters. And I actually don't have space, so I'm going to erase a little bit. So we keep in the 625 and we want to change this one here. So the other number is 18 meters 75 centimeters, right? So if we were to change that to centimeters, we would get 18 meters would be 18 times 100. That is 1800 centimeters. So the total for the top here, 1875 centimeters. Just making a little space there. Great. So just like I said before, we want to try and divide the two numbers, and I want to show you all the easiest way to divide, especially when you have numbers like this, is you use it as a fraction, because fractions are actually another way of writing divide. So you're going to take the 1875 and you're going to divide that by 625. And fractions are a nice way to divide because you can just reduce the fraction using one number at a time. So we could reduce these two numbers by 5 because they both end in 5. So we could use 5 to reduce them. So 5 into 18 is 3. remainder 3. 5 into 37 is 7, remainder 2. 5 into 25 is 5. So we get that over 5 into 6 is 1, remainder 1. 5 into 12 is 2, remainder 2. 5 into 25 is 5. And we could reduce again using 5 once again. So 5 into 37 is 7, remainder 2. 5 into 25 is 5, over 5 into 12 is 2, remainder 2. 5 into 25 is 5. Now at this point, we could see a nice number forming here, because if you know your money, in particular 25 cents, if you have 3 25 cents, you have 75 cents. So these two could actually be divided by 25. But let's continue dividing by 5. 5 into 75. 5 into 7 is 1, remainder 2. 5 into 25 is 5. And 5 into 25 on the bottom is 3. So you get 15. Sorry, no, it's 5. 5 into 25 is 5. So we get 15 over 5. So 15 over 5, this breaks all the way down to 3 over 1, which is equal to 3. So in the number machine, we would have taken 625 here and multiplied by 3. And the answer would be 1875. Are we almost done? Now we just have to subtract 17 meters 95 centimeters, and that will be our last part. So let's put 3 in here for our hexagon, and work out our irregular shape on the bottom. So I'm going to make some space. We can keep the 1875 this time, and we just going to convert the 17 meters and 95 centimeters. So of course, instead of 18 meters we have 17, so instead of 1800, that will give us 1700. So that will be equal to 1795 centimeters. And now we just have to subtract. So let's do that. Make a little space. Right here should be fine. So we have the bigger number on top, 1875, take away 1795. 5 take away 5 is 0. 7 cannot take away 9, so you borrow 1 from the 8, which is 7. And here we have 17 take away 9, which is 8. And then we get 0, 0. 9, yes. So that gives us 80. So the final answer in our number machine would be 80. And that's that. Alright, number 32. This Kareem has 48 meters. Let's get a little closer. Kareem has 48 meters of wire to construct fences around 2 square plots of land. The area of the first square plot is 4 times the area of the second square plot. Question asks to shade the areas on the grids above to represent Kareem's 2 square plots. Alright, so this is a really interesting question. Alright, because they want us to shade the area, but they give us a measurement for the perimeter, because they say the wire is to construct fences around 2 squares. So around the squares is perimeter, right? And the perimeter of a square, let's get that on the page. Perimeter of a square side multiplied by 4. So that's perimeter of a square. Side times 4. And they want the perimeter of both of the squares to add up to 48. It's very interesting. So the total perimeter I'll just put P for perimeter. Total perimeter is supposed to be 48 meters. So that means you have to get 2 squares that will add up to give you 48 meters. So because the perimeter is side times 4, whatever side we're using, the length of the square, the side of the square, will be multiplied times 4. So all our numbers will be divisible by 4. So we really only need our 4 times tables to help us, because we want to use the grids here to draw out our squares. But before we do that, we need to figure out how long we want our first square to be, and then our second square. So our first square needs to be something, okay, let's see. We want to get 48 in total. So what will add up to give us 48? If you think of your 4 times tables, you have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, and of course 48. Now we want 2 numbers out of this group that will add to give us 48. Alright, so 4 and 44, 8 and 40. So you can kind of match them as you go down, but we want to keep in mind the information they gave us about the area. So they said the area of the first square is 4 times the area of the second square. So that is going to be our other guide to see which 2 numbers we will pick to find out the length of our square. So what we will do is let's start coloring some squares. Let's pick a color here. So 1 square is a 1 by 1, right? So that doesn't help us because 4 times this would be this, right? Now what we're trying to do is get a perimeter total in 48. But if this is only 1, then the perimeter of this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus the perimeter of over on this side, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 plus 8, that only gives us 12, which is very far from where we want to be. So the small numbers like 4 and 44 would not work. Those numbers will be too small. If we double this up, we get this. Starting off with this, if we start off with 4, then our perimeter would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 and 40 will give us 48. But we cannot get a square that will give us 40, because 40 is not a square number, right? So that's the other trick to it. We want the square numbers that will be able to give us the correct perimeter that we want. So the only square numbers that we're seeing here that we could probably use would be 16, 36, and there are some more, but let's start with 16 and see. So if we have a square number of 16, right? If our square number is 16, then our 1, 2, 3, 4, we should have a square that is 4 by 4, because it's a square number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 4 by 4, which is 16, plus how much will give us 48? Okay, let's take away 48, take away 16. That is going to give us 32. Alright, so we want the perimeter of our next shape to be 32, because 16 plus 32 would be 48. But since it's a square we're dealing with, what we want is 32 divided by the 4 sides, which is 8. So the length of one side would be 8 squares, which I think is about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, perfect. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have, well, 8 going all around. So 8 fours are 32. And 4 fours are 16. So when you add that together, you get a perimeter of 48. And on top of that, they said the area is 4 times. So the area in this small square is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 centimeters squared. And since this bigger one is 8 by 8, the area will be 64 centimeters squared. 16, 64. 64 is 4 times 16. So that's just a double check to verify that our answer is correct. So this question was a little tricky, but we were able to get through. Alright, so now we're going to cruise through this one. We really like these types of questions. They want us to complete the symmetrical shape on the grid below using the line of symmetry shown. So, how does symmetry work? Every single square that you see here has to have a match on the opposite side of the line, the black line going through the middle, diagonally here. So, for example, this matches with this. This half matches with this half. So every triangle you touch have to have a match. So if I touch this one, I have to match with this one. So I have to touch this one. If I touch here, I need to match it with another with another square. So where will this square be? Alright, well, let's follow through. It is immediately next to this one, the half. So when you come onto this side, the half is here, and next to that will be there. So we'll put our rectangle right there. So that's be one space, and so we have that matching with this, and this one does not have a match, and this one is immediately next to this one, which was immediately next to the half. So to not confuse you, we'll mark it with the same colors. So this blue and this one matches here, those two. Let's get a little zoom so we can see it nice. Right? So if we want to get this next shape here, we need to go right next to this same one here. So my shape will go somewhere right. Let's put a red one right here. One, two, yeah, up, 1, 2. Yep. All right. Just double checking it to make sure it's right, and I think we're good there. That was just 2 marks. So these questions pass through a little faster. Number 34. Triangle ABC is a right angled isosceles triangle whose angle B is equal to its angle C. Complete the drawing on the grid below to represent triangle ABC. So right angle triangles are our favorite kind of triangle in maths. So we know we have to have a right angle. That's one thing. The other thing they told us is that it's an isosceles triangle. Isosceles means 2 sides are equal, right? The other thing they told us is that angle B and angle C are equal. So the angle by the letter B and the angle by the letter C is supposed to be the same. So if those two are the same in an isosceles triangle, that means we have one other angle that is not like B and C, and that angle would have to be the right angle. So that means that the angle by A would be the right angle, because a triangle has 180 degrees in total, and if B and C are the same, then the only other angle that could be the right angle would be A. So we know our line is going to draw our right angle. We know the symbol for right angle. It's very nice, easily drawn as a square. Right, that's my square there. Now the thing about the isosceles is that both sides have to be equal. 2 sides have to be equal. So the length of this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. So when we're drawing our triangle to form our right angle, we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to complete our triangle, we'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, right. And we'll label this point here C, and let's get rid of this here. To show that these 2 lines are equal, we put a line here and a line here, and to show that we're going to put these 2 angles in here. And there we have our isosceles right angle triangle with angles B and C being the same and line AB and AC being the same length. Alright, so number 35, we're almost there. The pictograph uses a scale factor to represent the number of cans collected by 5 teams. All together, meaning in total, the teams collected 120 cans. So, if the total is supposed to be 120, then what we'll have to do is figure out how much does one can represent, because this is not 120 cans in the pictures here. So how many cans do we actually have? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and we have half and a half. Half and half comes together to make one whole, so in total we have 15 cans. So these 15 cans supposed to represent 120 cans. So how will we find out what is one can? Well, 120 divided by 15. So we're going to do that long division here. Show you're working. Sometimes you could divide as a fraction, sometimes you could divide in long division or short division. Just show you're working. So 15 into 1 cannot, 15 into 12 cannot. So this is a little tricky one, but some of us, we can calculate it by counting in 15s, because 15 times 15 or 15 plus 15 is 30. So 30 plus 30 is 60, so that's 2, plus 30 is 90, so that's 3, plus 30 is 120, so that's 4. And if every 30 have 2 15s and we have 4 30s, then 4 times 2 is 8. You can pick 8 as our guess, and we'll go 8 times 5 is 40, 8 times 1 is 8, plus the 4 from the 40 is 12, and we get through with our division there. So one can in the pictures is represented by 8 cans in real life. So they ask how many cans did team 1 collect, how many more cans did team 1 collect than team 4. So team 1 have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. Team 1 have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half cans. And team 4 have 1, 2, 2 and a half cans. So we want to take away to see how much more they have. And this is a very simple subtraction, because a half subtract a half will give you nothing, but 4 take away 2 will give you 2. So a half take away a half gives you 0, so the fraction is gone and you only remain with the whole number, number 2. So what we're going to do here now is do 2 multiplied by 8, because the difference will be 2 cans, and if 1 can is 8, then 2 times 8 would be 16 cans. So team 1 collected 16 more cans than team 4. Very good. Last question. Jay's Autos sold 5 different types of vehicles. Let's make sure we can see this. Jay's Autos sold 5 different types of vehicles. The table below shows the number of vehicles sold by Jay's Auto during May. So we see the table here. Let's get a little closer. Type of vehicle sold and the number of vehicles sold. So we see in sedan 30, SUV 20, truck 10, wagon 25, sports car 5. So the question I was asking, or they're telling us, the owner of Jay's Auto wanted the mean of vehicles sold in May to be greater. How many sports cars should he have sold in May to increase the number of vehicles sold to 20? Alright, so they want the mean number of vehicles sold to be 20. So mean is another word for average, and we know when you find any average, we're adding up everything and then dividing by the number of things we add. So for us to be able to raise the mean to 20, we first have to figure out what is the mean right now. So the mean right now would be 30 plus 20 plus 10 plus 25 plus 5. You have to add that all up. 5 plus 5 is 10. 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So that's 3, yes. So right now, the total cars sold is 90, right? And we want the mean to be 20. So if we want the mean to be 20 and it is 5 types of cars we're selling, then we have to multiply this by 5 to figure out what will be the total amount of cars we have to sell in all. And 5 times 20 is 100. So we sold 90 cars when we want to sell 100. So the question is asking how many sports cars should he sell in May to increase it. So right now the sports cars is at 5. But how much sports cars does he have to sell in total for the mean to go up to 20? So when they say the mean is 20, they mean the total cars sold is 100. Right? That's what they're saying there. So if the total cars sold right now is 90 and we want it to be 100, we have to subtract 100 take away 90 is 10. So we need 10 more cars. 10 more cars added to the sports car group, and that will increase our mean to 20. So if we have 5 sports cars there now and we want to have 10 more, we'll do 10 plus 5. So they're asking how many cars should he have sold. Instead of selling 5, he should have sold 15 sports cars, and that would have gotten his mean to 20. And that, subscribers, brings us to the end of our, this is what, day 4 of SEA today as we prepare for SEA 2021. Thank you very much for joining me. Remember to subscribe, share this video with all your friends to make sure that everybody is prepared. We want to make it difficult for them to place us into schools, as COVID was tough for us in preparation for SEA. We need to make it tough for those who set the exam for us. Alright, so let's continue to come back every day and put in the work, put in the effort, study now so you could celebrate tomorrow. SEA preparation today so you could have fun tomorrow. So thanks for joining me. Share it with all your friends, and I will see you tomorrow.
SEA Today.